learning. And I do have a QR code up there that you can scan if you want a copy of the presentation, but I will also put it in the chat at the end too, so you can access it. So I'm Dr. Jennifer Ban. I'm the Assistant Superintendent of Teaching and Learning in Pleasantdale School District 107 in Burr Ridge. And I'm very passionate about helping teachers and leaders become better. And so personalized professional development is really a topic that's close to my heart. And we've worked very hard on it in our district. So I'm excited to share with you what we've learned. But first, I want to get to know who's here with us today. So if you could please put your name, your position, and your school or your district or your organization in the chat box, just so we can see who all is here and welcome you. So we have an instructional coach. Hi, Valerie. Hi, Angela. My colleagues. Another minute or two, second or two. Okay, professional development coordinator. Hi, Wendy. I'll keep checking out the chat to see if anybody else pops in. And then we're going to move to a couple of questions for you. So first, I want to learn from you and what you're interested in learning about today. So in the chat, type 1 to 2 words that describe what you'd like your professional professional learning for your staff to look like. So what would you like to see in your professional learning that maybe you don't have now, that maybe you're striving to get to? Meaningful for the various roles and positions, meaningful and differentiated. Awesome. Thanks, Megan. Okay. Working towards ownership. I mean, I'm also assuming that you're here because you want to learn more about personalizing professional learning for your staff. So that's an assumption that I'm making. Awesome. I also have a little poll for you. Just going to take stock of where you are. So first, and this is the first time Will and I have both done polls on Zoom, so bear with us. We're going to do our best. So first poll question, how would you rate the professional learning provided to your staff right now? So I'm going to launch. You have a star option, so 5 stars being the best PD ever, and 3 stars kind of in the middle, 1 star like, yeah, we really need to do some work on this. Lots of 3-star. 4, 3, 4. Give it another 5 seconds. Awesome. Okay, so looks like somewhere around 3, 4 stars. So always room for improvement, right? Oh, sorry, I have to share the results. Here are the results. Around 3, 4 stars. So room for improvement, but still doing pretty well, right? Next poll question. Which 2 to 3 descriptors do you think are most important for professional learning? So I'm going to launch this one, and we've got 5 different choices: choice, self-paced, content or department specific, sustainable over time, application of learning. So you can pick 2 or 3 that you feel are most important for staff. Give it a couple more seconds. Going to close it in about 2 seconds. Put your last choices in. Okay. So a lot of application of learning, that's a big one. Sustainable over time, content or department specific. Awesome. Okay. So I think I have a pretty good idea about where we want to go today. So I'm going to tell you about our district's journey towards giving staff more choice, more time to apply their learning, just doing more for our staff through our professional learning. So to start off with, so this is me and our district librarian and our innovative teaching coach. And this is how we used to feel about professional learning in our district. And we always laugh because Ricky's playing her trombone that says womp womp. It wasn't going so well. We were providing a lot of professional development for our staff, but it didn't seem to be sustainable. It seemed to be more one shot. And we were getting feedback that kind of looked like all of this. So we do some surveys with our staff. We do a school's perception survey on the years that we don't do the 5 essential survey. So this was from our 2018-2019 school year. And you'll see that we were getting a little feedback from about 20-ish% of our staff that were like, the days aren't that well organized and well planned, and my opportunities for training are not adequate enough. That was a little bit alarming, but then we started seeing comments like these, especially in the circle, like, I would like to be able to choose my own PD instead of being told when, where, and what to attend. Well, that's pretty on the nose. So, we were seeing people who were saying some of this doesn't apply to me. And as some of you who are in the same position as I am now, it's hard to get everybody what they need in one day or one shot. So we started looking at our PD right around this time, and you'll notice the year, it was 2019 going into 2020. But we also looked at our 5 essentials data, and we found that at our elementary school, about 75% of our teachers believed that our PD was sustained and coherently focused instead of short-term and unrelated. And that probably was due to, we had just adopted a new math program. And so most of our professional learning was around math. And so I think they felt like it was very applicable. At the middle school, though, I think we were still struggling quite a bit. And about half of our teachers, our staff, felt that our PD was coherent, focused, and long-term. So that was kind of alarming. And then we also looked at another question, that our PD has included enough time to think carefully about, try and evaluate new ideas. And time is always something that we want more of, to give our teachers time to reflect, to give them time to apply what they've learned. Again, at the elementary school, there's a little bit more agreement that was happening, but that was also likely because we were doing a lot more content specific professional learning with them. Still just under half the middle school. So this was interesting too. We also looked at this question: is our PD closely connected to our school's improvement plan? And that was overwhelmingly positive that we were definitely connecting our professional learning to our strategic blueprint. Just not everybody felt like it applied to them, or that they had time to engage in long-term PD, or that they had time to apply what they learned. So we decided to take a look at some different models for PD. And to start off with, we gave our staff a survey and asked what they wanted to learn more about. So what came out of it was these areas. So technology integration was fairly high on the list, social emotional learning, but then the other three, the differentiated instruction, supporting special populations, and PD in my content area, all kind of went together. So we noticed that we had some trends emerging as to what our staff wanted to learn. We also thought about our strategic blueprint. So this is our district's strategic blueprint. We have 3 district goals: building learning capacity, building learning environments, and building human capital. And we do action steps that go under those 3 goal areas. And that's usually what our professional learning is around. So of course our PD was tied to that. It just wasn't getting to everybody. We liked that it was aligned and we wanted to keep that alignment, but we knew we had to make some changes. And so right around, actually like 2 months before the pandemic hit, we were starting to investigate personalized learning opportunities and how to design a new PD program. And I had been making some phone calls and working with some other districts and getting ideas from them. We had made it an action step for 1920 to give more choice and personalization in our professional learning. So the time was ripe. And then all of a sudden the pandemic hit. But it also forced us to have this meeting of the minds. So you'll see there's me, there's Ricky Steinmetz, our librarian, and Megan Babalka, our innovative teaching coach. And we look much happier in these pictures. We had a little meeting of the minds and said, okay, it's time to really revamp our professional learning. And so we started designing new models. So this was our first foray into designing more of what our staff needed at the time on demand. So this was, you'll see the date, March 16th, this was 2020. And we knew in order for our staff to be successful at e-learning, there was on-demand PD we had to give. So we had to give teachers time to explore tools that they can use in their e-learning teaching. So we developed these mini sessions that teachers got to choose. So if they were already familiar with Brain Pop, they could skip that one and go to Edpuzzle. We tried to make it so that they could go to as many or as few sessions as they wanted to, so that they could pick what was best for them. So that was, it kind of forced us into starting professional or personalized learning. And this was a good first step. And then we went into the 2020 school year and we realized that, well, we were in school in person all year long. And so we were providing in-person professional learning on Zoom with everybody in their classrooms. So we had to come up with a way that we could personalize learning, give our staff what they needed, and at the same time, make it meaningful, give them choice, and also conduct it over Zoom. So this was our October Institute Day, and we came up with the theme and the idea of using a menu to give staff more choice. So we designed a menu. The red one is actually for our teachers and the yellow one is for our aides. So we started off picking, we designed our menu so that we had appetizers where everybody had to have an appetizer. So everybody got the overview. For that, we chose Class Kick because everybody was using it to assess their students. And so we decided that was going to be something for everyone. And the little numbers next to our titles are the time increments. So this was this was half an hour. And then the 10.0s, those are an hour long. We did entrees that were sessions on Pear Deck, Classkick, and Flipgrid. So they got a little overview of Classkick, and then they got to pick if they wanted to go to all 3 of these sessions or just one. We also made these sessions both live and recorded. So they got a self-paced and a live session so that they missed the live session, they could still go through the self-paced work. We also had some must-dos that were sides. So either our teachers would do the cybersecurity for educators, ed leaders, PD, or digital citizenship. And those each took about 1 to 2 hours. And again, this is an entire institute day. So, we had about 5-6 hours of learning for them to do. For desserts, they got to pick. We grabbed a bunch of different podcast options, and they could pick one, and I'll show you what those look like. And then the beverages, those were pick one to work on throughout the day. And we have GCNs that our staff have to do. We're always encouraging them to do Apple Teacher because that's part of we are a one-to-one Apple district. We had some webinar options, and then they could design their own. So if they needed to do something that was just for them, that could be an option too. These menus were made in Canva for educators, and I'll show you a little bit more of that later. So this is what our menu looked like. And then when teachers opened up the menu, they had their overview, the Classkick overview, then they had live sessions or self-paced. So they couldn't go to the live Classkick session. They could do a self-paced later on in the day if they wanted to. Same thing with Pear Deck. Same thing with Flipgrid, our cybersecurity for educators, our digital citizenship. And then when we got to the desserts and the pick a podcast, we did portions. So we had a tasting that was a 10-minute podcast. We had a sample that was a 30-minute podcast. A full portion would be something that's an hour or longer. So again, teachers got to kind of pick what would be best for them. If they only had 10 minutes, they could listen to the 10-minute podcast, but they could always come back and do more if they needed to or wanted to. And then we had our beverage option. All of our teachers filled out a Google form when they were done, telling us each thing that they did, and we had them give us some feedback on the day as well. And our menu for aids was extremely similar. And as you can see, we just changed up some of the entrees and beverages. So that was our menu option. And I should stop for a second and say, if at any time you have questions or want me to explain something further, please feel free to put it in the chat or the Q&A. Will's watching and he'll tell me when there's something I have to answer. So that was what we did in October. And then in November, we tried something else. We added choice. So it worked so nicely to have those mini sessions on Flipgrid and Classkick and Pear Deck. We wanted to expand out to more. So again, we were still virtual and still doing things over Zoom with everybody in their rooms alone. And we wanted to find a way to bring our staff together and learn together, even though we couldn't be together in person. So we decided for our November Institute to do an EdCamp and also use some of our menu options to design our EdCamp. So an EdCamp structure is basically where you don't have a topic, but you gather together and everybody talks about, you put up all these different topics and then people go where they want to go and talk about what they want to talk about. And there's really like no format to it other than people can share ideas, they can talk to people about what they've been doing, they can learn from each other. And so we wanted to create that same EdCamp environment. So we used Padlet and we recruited teachers to be EdCamp counselors to kind of lead discussions on different options. So I'm going to open up our Padlet and show you what we were doing. So as you can see, we have all of these different options. So first, we did ask for feedback. So at the end of the day, we put this little link up here and asked teachers to give us feedback on the EdCamp structure, and it was very positive. We had camp counselor resources. So once we recruited all of our EdCamp counselors, we met with them and said, okay, here's how you run an EdCamp session. You don't have to really have anything prepared. you just show up, you facilitate the discussion, and then just kind of, take notes on what people discussed and learned. And then you can also put resources into the Padlet. It's exactly what we did. So everybody, so many of our teachers volunteered to be camp counselors, and they offered topics too. So our social workers offered sessions on self-care. We had people doing Edpuzzle, online gaming platforms, meaningful math discussions, our aides roles during synchronous and remote learning, Class Kick, Pear Deck, so it went on and on and on. And then we just scheduled out times and tried to stagger them so people could go to as many sessions as possible or as few sessions as they wanted to. And everyone just had the option of going to learn about the things they wanted to learn about, learn from each other, and have great conversations. And it really went very well. So that was our next foray into personalized learning. And then we put it all together and did an EdCamp with menus. This was our January Institute. And our January Institute in January 2021 was focused around differentiated instruction. It's another one of our strategic blueprint goals. And so we decided to make the whole day about it, and we decided to combine like the best of both worlds that we've done and give everybody a menu of things to do and choose from, but also use an EdCamp format to do our entrees. So you see our menu here, our Padlet here. So I'm going to open that up. I'm going to close this one really quickly. It's bad to have lots of tabs open. So we posted our menu, and our appetizer was everybody had to participate in an overview of differentiated instruction on Zoom. So that was a big 120 person presentation that I gave, giving an overview of DI. And then our super salad was that everybody was going to pick an area that they were going to research, differentiation by content, process, or product. And we had our teachers do a self-evaluation in advance, and then they evaluated and chose whether they were going to focus on content, process, or product, because we also felt like we didn't want them to focus on too many things at once. So they picked, and during that super salad time, they did research on their area. So we gave them lots of different links to go to, articles to read. So as you'll see under the entrees, there's further research they can do. Then we had them meet in an EdCamp format. And again, we staggered those times, and they met with their content area peers so that they could talk about their research in relationship to their content area. And we told our elementary teachers, you pick the content area you most want to go with. And our specialists were also able to choose whatever area they wanted to choose as well. So they had a half an hour EdCamp session. And then we continued on with our menu and our sides stayed the same. The sides are always the same. Cybersecurity or digital citizenship, you have to have both completed by the end of the year. We didn't want to leave out differentiating by affect and learning environment. So we made that a dessert option and did an EdCamp on that as well for anybody who wanted to participate. And then we also gave them some differentiated instruction related podcasts, videos, blog posts for their dessert portion. And then again, their beverages, GCNs, Apple Teacher, and design your own. So teachers could kind of engage in learning experiences as much or little as they wanted to. They had to go to one EdCamp session, and that was really it. The rest of it, they could kind of choose what they did the rest of the time, picking from our menu. So there were things that they had to do and get to. They also had the time to do that, but we also were able to work in time for them to learn on topics that were related to our strategic blueprint and have choice within that. So that was our January Institute Day. So we really had a very successful year of professional learning. We did this all on Zoom, which is crazy and wonderful. And when we finally got to be together again this year, we were ready for takeoff. So our big vision was to design a professional learning system where teachers picked a path and continued on that path for the entire school year. And that was where our PDAL expeditions was born, that I'm going to share with you, that we've put into place this year and our teachers are engaging in. So as I said before, I had this vision of doing a personalized learning pathway for all of our teachers before the pandemic hit, and we were finally able to put it into place in the fall of 2021. So I'm going to introduce you to our PDAL expeditions. So you'll notice, so everything has a theme, and our theme for our PDAL expeditions is travel. And you'll notice that our 3 areas that our teachers could explore were very closely related to that PD survey we gave them in 2019. So differentiated instruction is a path, instructional technology is a path, and SEL is a path. And our paths look like this. Oh, first we have travel guides too. So each of us are travel guides for the different area that we oversee. So I oversee differentiated instruction, our assistant principal oversees SEL, and then our innovative teaching coach and district librarian oversee the instructional tech piece. So this is what our plan looks like, and it looks like this for all 3 areas. So we decided that we wanted to do like different levels that teachers had to complete. And then we also wanted to move them through engaging with their topic, deeply exploring their topic, and then applying their topic. So teachers choose one of 3 paths, and then they work through the different levels and the different categories. So the engage is a must do that everybody has to do. It's the anchor activity. Explore gives you lots of activities to do, and you pick 2 or 3. And then your apply, everyone has to do, and I'll show you that in a minute. The apply we connected to our teacher evaluation system, not that they're evaluated on what they're doing, but we're using it to push our teachers to examine the difference between proficient and excellent in many descriptors or many categories, and really think about how they're going to use what they learned to try to move themselves from proficient to excellent in different areas on their evaluation. So it's not an evaluative piece, it's supporting our teachers as they grow and learn. Then we have 3 levels. So the traveler level is level 1, the Voyager level is 2, and then the Globetrotter is level 3. For differentiated instruction, my level 1 is an overview of DI. So it's a deep dive into differentiated instruction, and the explore activities are all related to that. Level 2 is focusing deep dive on content, and then level 3 is deep dive on process. When we expand out our offerings, I'll add product and I'll add other pieces too. So our vision is to expand this out so that our teachers can go to professional learning outside of the district and apply that to their levels, so that they can also lead PD and apply that to their levels, so they can do things on their own and apply it to their levels. But right now we're kind of starting small with the 3 sections and the 3 levels. So I'll show you a little bit of what this looks like. So a must do for our level 2 for differentiated instruction is that they have to learn about backward design and learn about how to design coherent instruction that can be easily differentiated. So they watch a video to get a quick overview. I did a video for them, a quick 5-minute, this is what UBD is. Their second task is to watch a video with Jay McTighe and Carol Ann Tomlinson, where they explain how UBD and differentiated instruction connect. And then I gave them a little rundown too to say, okay, here's what you can expect from this video. And then they have a template where they can use it to move through the rest of the sections and think about how they might redesign one of their units to be in a backwards design model. And I gave them some extra resources on that as well. Then their activities that they do and explore, this is where they get to pick. So all of our activity sheets for Explore look like this. They're just color coded differently for the different content, the different path areas. But they have links to websites, blog posts, presentations, articles, often podcasts, videos, and then we give a little description. So they choose 2 or 3, and then they fill out a Google form reflecting on what they learned from what they researched. And then finally, they have to apply. So everyone gets this sheet, which is the same for everybody. And it has these same steps. The components are just different. So we asked them to look at the Danielson framework. And then we went through each of the travel guides went through and picked different components that related most to our area. So I picked these. And we asked them to look at the difference between the proficient and excellent descriptors, and then highlight or circle or compare words and phrases that really show the difference, which usually it's more individualization within that area you're working in for students. But we really wanted them to understand, because any of you who have ever evaluated know, you always get at, well, what's the difference between proficient and excellent? How do I get to excellent? And how do I do all these things in excellent? So then for the third part, we ask them to reflect on their classroom and their students. And once they decide what they feel like they might want to do to move from proficient to excellent in any area or all of them, they're going to apply it to their classroom. And then we have a Padlet for them to go on, and we have our 3 levels, and they post what they've done and an artifact about what they've done, whether it's a picture or a video or a student work sample or a reflection or something. And then we approve it, and then they earn their badge. So that's working through the engage, the explore, and the apply. So I know that's a lot. Any questions so far? I'll show you a little bit more. Looks like no questions. So this is our SEL path. This is our instructional tech path. And again, same thing. The must do, everybody does for the engage, the explore is choice, and then the apply, everybody gets to apply, but maybe not necessarily all in the same way, because everybody's going to apply this differently. Also, the nice thing about using a Padlet to gather responses is that once we approve them, everybody can see what each other is doing. And so they can learn from each other that way as well. So we also wanted to make it fun. So we have prizes and badges. So as an individual staff member, you're going to get a badge every time you complete a level. We made laptop stickers, a door badge for our teachers to put on their doors so that students can see that they've been learning and doing new things. And then they also have a little email badge that they can put on their signature. We also divided everybody up into teams. And so we have a middle school and an elementary school in our district. So we mixed everybody up between schools, put them on a team of about 5 or 6 people. And then as everybody on the team finishes a level, they get a prize for the whole team. So our level 1 prize is a snack and beverage, school appropriate beverage of choice for each team member that we would deliver to them. They fill out a little form, they say what they want, and we give it to them. Level 2 is lunch for the whole team. And then level 3 is 1 class period of sub out time per team member that gets covered by an administrator or one of our coaches. And then these are our badges. So we have the laptop sticker that we give them, the email badge and the door badge. And then as you see up here, they'll get their Traveler Voyager Globetrotter with either SEL, DI, or instructional tech. And that also enables our teachers to pick different paths too. Once they finish one path, they can work through a new path. And then this is our information about the teams. So that's our PDL expeditions that we've just kicked off this year. And it's something that we're able to do It's something that we're able to sustain right now when we're in more of a like COVID time where fewer people are going out to trainings and things like that. So we're able to keep it a little more in-house, but still give our teachers what they need. But the model, as hopefully you can see, is something that we can adapt and transform as we move forward. But we have that format there that teachers can count on that's consistent for them. We do also have an aid pathway. We just haven't started them on it yet because they have other things they had to accomplish on our institute days, but we'll also put an aid pathway in there as well. So then there's more fun to do. This is really the fun part. You add to the design of your professional learning system and make it fun. So some of the things we did to make it fun. Everything always has a theme. So when we did our January Institute last year, we did a winter warm up and we put out hot chocolate packets and tea bags and cups with lids and little snacks, and our teachers could enjoy beverages throughout the day. I think this was our EdCamp session. We went with a camping theme. So we called our snack treat area the Canteen, and we had supplies for our campers. We have our badges and our travel theme for PDL expeditions. And then every time we have an institute day, we do in-flight snacks. So we have little carts that we bring out. So I'll show you what that looks like. Here we are. So here's our little beverage cart. Here was our canteen. We were still in pandemic world. So we were giving out little hand sanitizer bottles as part of our camping supplies. And then in our October Institute Day, since it was our first menu, we went over the intercom in both schools and said, hey, it's an extra helping of dessert. There's an ice cream truck outside. And so we bought all of our teachers an ice cream treat at the end, towards the end of the day. And they really liked that. So other things to make it fun. So pick your platforms. So these are all platforms that we've used to enhance our professional learning options. And there's links to all of them. So when you grab the presentation, it'll take you there. Canva for educators. I've put a lot of things on Edpuzzle because teachers can view videos, answer questions, stop the video, and then I can kind of see what they're doing. It's wonderful. The EdCamp format, which we're doing kind of an abridged version of, but yeah, we'll keep evolving it. Padlet is fantastic for organizing things and basically having a one-stop shop for everything that your teachers need. Obviously, we use Google Slides, Google Forms, Google Sheets. Common Sense Media is where that cybersecurity, where that digital citizenship training lies. And then the Ed Leaders Network, which right now we're using it for cybersecurity, but we'll probably start adding pieces in Ed Leaders because they have all of these PD sessions that will go with what we're already doing. So what happened when we transformed our professional learning? Good things. So this is our 2021 5 Essentials data. We actually didn't have enough elementary teachers to get data from them, but our middle school teachers started agreeing more that our PD was more sustained and coherently focused and long-term. And they also had time to think and try and evaluate new ideas. So that was really exciting. And we're really excited to see this year's 5 Essentials survey data too. But the best part was the feedback that we got, which was so much happier than the feedback we were getting a couple of years ago, which you can kind of see on our screen. We had people saying it was good, they liked the choice, they liked the format, they loved the EdCamps, they liked being selecting things that meant something to them, they liked learning from each other. So it's really transformed our PD, and what we're finding now is we just want more time to be able to have our teachers work through PDL expeditions, because this year being as crazy as it is, which I'm sure you're all going through, all we've really had time to do with it is on our institute days, which are kind of few and far between, because we're all just still a little bit in survival mode again. But I also wanted to give you all an option and a way to apply your learning today. So I have some things for you as well. So some steps to start your planning process. Set your goals. What do you want to accomplish with your professional learning? Think about a choice board layout, and I'll have some options for those as well. think about what's non-negotiable. What do you want your staff to have to do? And what are you okay with being optional or self-paced or on your own? Think about a theme and incentives or treats or fun or just ways to make it more engaging, and then design and implement. So here's your steps for your planning process. And then again, I'll give you the QR code so that I have the QR code for you. I'll put the link in the chat for this presentation. All these links are live and will take you to where you need to go, but just different resources, podcasts, videos, and things to explore with learning menus, choice boards, agency, and different slide carnival options for choice boards as well. Canva is also great for designing things. So that's all I have on professional learning and personalizing it. Are there any, so I'll open it up to questions. If you guys have questions or want to know more about something, please put it in the chat. Please put it in the Q&A. And if there are none, then guess what? It's everybody's favorite time. You get to get out early. Oh, wait, I have something in the chat. Besides Institute days, when do we provide PD? Yes. So we do have, at our middle school, we have a curriculum planning time that we can block with a team time. So we can grab about 80 minutes of time for our staff if we need to. At our elementary school, we have an 8:15 to 8:50 time that we can also use for PD. But what we're thinking of for next year is to have some kind of designated protected time each month for them to collaborate and work on their personal learning journey. Because this year, it's really only been Institute days. It's been hard this year. We also, for next year's calendar, worked in some half days that we hadn't been taking, half day school improvement days. So we're going to designate those for work on PDL expeditions as well. Kind of gotten to the point where like, whatever we're going to make a priority, that's what we're going to carve out time for. We survey staff. So Angela, hopefully that answered your question. And of course, you and I can always talk more. When you survey, okay, so we survey staff. We're required to do the 5 essentials survey every other year. And then the off years, we do our school perception survey. Although I think the last 2 years we've done 5 essentials, but we work Google Form surveys into everything that we do. So after every PD session we did in 2020, we had a little Google form that asked for feedback, or we had staff put feedback on the Padlets, or they would send us feedback. So we'll probably do a survey on PDL expeditions towards the end of this year as well too. But usually we try to work it into the day so that it's not something extra that everybody has to do. Any other questions I can answer for you? Oh, I went to my last slide. You're welcome. So obviously you have my contact information too if you want to reach out and get more information on anything. I also wanted to highlight some coming attractions. So if you want to see this presentation live, Megan and Ricky and I are giving a presentation at IdeaCon in a couple of weeks on Monday, Valentine's Day. So we're really excited to share more ideas in person. And then we do have a little work time worked into our in-person session. And then Meg Napick and I are doing a week-long intensive institute at Northwestern this summer. So if any of your teachers, staff members, coaches are interested in designing inquiry-based learning and assessment, we are doing a week-long intensive summer institute on that, where we will have our participants create their own unit with us. So spread the word. I want to make sure that I put in the chat our QR code for the presentation so that you can all access it. Oh. And there it is. So there's the link to the presentation in the chat as well. And again, thank you for coming and thank you for listening to my little ed talk, and happy to share any ideas and strategy and anything else that you need. So feel free to reach out anytime. Good luck in your learning. Good luck in your learning design. Good luck with your staff. Good luck with the rest of the year. And thanks for coming.
Thank you all so much for coming. And Jennifer, thank you so much. This was awesome. We really appreciate you taking time to do this webinar for us, or this ed talk. So thank you.
Absolutely, my pleasure.
With that, I think we're going to sign off, everybody. And again, thanks to everyone for attending. Be on the lookout for our upcoming free ed talks, as well as the summer institutes, such as the one Jennifer and Meg are doing. We're really, really excited for those. And with that, have an awesome night. Happy Thursday.
Goodbye. Thank you.